Hey Inspirators, it's Inspiring Vanessa here, and welcome back to another wonderful interview for all of you. Today is a Friday, so I hope you guys have had a good end to your week. I'm trying to maintain a positive mindset as well. I hope you have been enjoying the content that has been coming out on all my social media platforms. Because I am back at school, it's been a little bit overwhelming at first to kind of get everything back to normal and trying to understand the balance between the two, basically doing social media and also my schoolwork, but everything has been going very, very well. So make sure to just stay tuned for more content coming out and still keeping up with obviously the interviews. They won't be going on every single day like it was during lockdown or like in the prime duration of lockdown, but I'll still be doing them so that you guys can see some more inspirational guests and get the best knowledge out of that. You're such an inspiration for teens. Thank you so much. But we are redoing this interview because I think there was a glitch on Instagram yesterday and the live literally just disappeared, which was so much fun. But we are still doing it again so you guys can see the content later on, or it can go across other platforms so more people can be impacted by it. So today's guest is the lovely, the wonderful, the very, very wise Niamani Knight, and she is a founder of her own business which is called S.T.R.E.A.M, and she's also an education advocate and speaker. So basically we're talking about what she does and how she created her business and how she inspires other kids. So I'm going to bring her onto this interview and then we can get straight into the first question. Hi!
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What have you done today so far?
Meetings all morning, so a lot of Zoom calls. Yeah, I have to do some schoolwork after, but that's pretty much it.
And what time is it over there right now?
It's only 11.
It's
So I still
only
have,
11.
like,
Wow. It's like 7 p.m. here. Time
oh,
differences are always very, very fascinating to me for some reason. But thank you for obviously joining me today and being my guest. It's always a pleasure speaking to you.
how was your day?
My day was really good actually. I had a drama lesson today, so that was really nice. I am a little bit tired, but thank goodness it's a Friday, so that
Yes.
tomorrow on a Saturday I can just sleep in. I don't have to wake up super early to go to school, so that's the good thing for me. Or that's the best thing about Fridays, knowing that the next day I can sleep in and just kind of enjoy my day rather than rushing to school. So that's basically how my day has been going. But starting off with the first question, which is, when did you create your business, which is called S.T.R.E.A.M?
Yeah, so I started S.T.R.E.A.M when I was 13. I actually went through like kind of a business entrepreneurship class for middle school students. So that was super fun. I was forced into the program. I definitely wasn't going to start S.T.R.E.A.M, but my mom had put me into it. She almost made me quit basketball to go into this program. So I ended up wanting to do something that would hopefully make an impact. And I love STEM. I love science and math. And so I ended up coming with the concept of S.T.R.E.A.M, which focuses on science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and manufacturing. And it just started off as a 13-year-old girl's project in my local community, and since has expanded way more than I've ever imagined.
I mean, it's so amazing how you just kind of, or how the idea kind of came along as well. I think we've discussed this before, but it's like everyone always just kind of falls into their like dream or like their passions. It's not something that people completely like want to do at first. It's something people just figure out that they enjoy it and then they just end up continuing to do it. So if anyone who is watching this is a little bit confused or they're a bit lost in what they want to do, it's probably just going to come to you. So let it come to you and then just pursue that if it feels right for you or you feel like you want to do that in the future, which I think is very, very important to think about as well. So the next question is that S.T.R.E.A.M is actually also a kids expo. So what inspired you to create that, and how did that idea kind of come along to get more young people together and kind of share their ideas?
Well, the expo is really how S.T.R.E.A.M got started. I wanted a community center, and my parents basically couldn't buy me a community center when I was 13. So it started off as like this pop-up expo experience where we just brought in a bunch of companies and a bunch of students that were doing some really cool things. We had a kid that literally built his own desk with like an iPad on it. I was like, what in the world?
Wow.
An iPad and charging stations and a place to like put his water. I was like, this is brilliant. So that's kind of how the expo started off. It was really just a fun place for students to be able to learn, to do some fun things, whether it was building your own desk, building birdhouses with companies like Lowe's, or shooting off rockets with Lockheed Martin, or learning acting and learning singing. That's kind of how the expo started. Since then, you can kind of think of it like a pop-up educational theme park. So there's a lot of things happening, all that have to do with different aspects of STREAM, but there's definitely something there for everybody.
So it's very, very inclusive, you can say. Like 100% inclusive, because people can go there and still be learning something new or learning more about what they want to do in the future, but also have fun and be entertained by it at the same time, which is the best way to educate people, just to get them engaged with it and actually have fun so that their brain kind of remembers more of it or learns more of it as well. That sounds absolutely fantastic. Obviously, due to Corona, kids expos or just events in general have not been going on this year, which is really does break my heart, because I love going to the events and socializing with people. But if anyone who is based in the USA, do you have any upcoming dates or kids expos that are coming up in the future?
So we're not doing any in-person expos this year. Unfortunately, our events reach like over 1,000 students per event.
Wow.
So there is unfortunately no way that I can do it this year. But we launched a virtual platform called STREAM World. So if people want to learn more about upcoming events, and we have a bunch coming up, especially starting in October, they can just go to our website, and that will give a calendar of dates that are happening for some exciting new events and content in this new virtual platform.
I mean, it's so we should all be so thankful that we live in the 21st century.
Yes.
What, to be honest, what would we have done going through lockdown without just our phone or just technology in general? I honestly just can't think about it without having our phones or devices.
I can't even imagine. It's been so great to be able to connect with people in different countries, different states. And there's definitely no way we could do that without having this technology right at our fingertips. So it's been a great use of the resources that we have in front of us to be able to still create experiences that reach people and are educational and fun, but just a little bit different than our normal, what we've known as the normal previously.
Definitely. And it's so good that just despite the pandemic going on, it's not something that's going to stop you from educating or helping other young people. So there's always a loophole, everyone. There's always a different way to still create impact instead of actually being in person with the person who is going or attending the event, whether it be face-to-face or virtual, for that matter. So the next question is, not only are you a founder at 19 years old, but you are also an education advocate, which is so fantastic. So my question is, if you could change one thing about the educational system, what would you change and why?
I honestly think I have to give the same answer I gave before. Like, I really think if we can eliminate access barriers in education, that would be so amazing. It's crazy to hear just the differences we have from, I think, from the US, the UK education system, or even cities. Like, I can drive 15 minutes to another city, and the resources and the technology or the computers that they have in their classroom are so different than what I have in my classroom. And so I think that's probably my biggest thing, eliminating those barriers for students in terms of education, because I think that would help in so many different ways.
I mean, for sure, because if you live in any area that like doesn't have the most accessible things, then you have to start making insane sacrifices, or you won't even be aware that there are more resources to further what you want to do in the future, for example. So
yeah,
I definitely agree with you. We need to just try and make everything inclusive and accessible to everyone, so everyone can still get equal opportunities despite where they are living or what state they're living in, or just area, depending on what the kind of resources that different schools may have in the local area that they live in, as well.
Absolutely.
So you already seem like a very strong-minded and passionate person about what you do. So my question is how do you keep motivated? How do you keep striving forward and never giving up despite maybe not having ideas or not feeling just inspired, or yeah, just not feeling inspired during the day?
I would say one of my biggest motivators is just seeing students that still need help. I get emails and phone calls from communities all the time. They're like, "Are you able to provide this service?" Or "We're having this problem over here," or "We're not able to get access to computers so students can go to school right now." It's like there's so much that needs to be done. That's one of the biggest things that keep me motivated. Secondly, I have a great group of friends, like virtually, but also in person, that are some great motivating people, including you, Vanessa. Like your
Thank you.
posts, the things that you post on Instagram, those have been great motivating factors as well. So I always like to just surround myself with positive people because I think that helps.
Definitely. I mean, I totally agree with you. Because if you're around people who are just negative 24/7, you're eventually, unfortunately, gonna start maintaining or just developing a negative mindset, which is really what we don't want to happen to all the positive people that we do have out there in the world who are trying to create a difference. So I definitely agree with you. Always make sure you're surrounding yourself with positive individuals, like-minded people, people who may want to do the same thing as you in the future, or even now instead, because age is just a number. You can do anything at any age, as long as you have the right support system as well, kind of family, and also definitely including friends also. So definitely agree with you, always giving us amazing answers. So the next question is kind of a question for me, because I'm quite curious to see what your thoughts are on it as an education advocate. And it is, do you think society puts pressure on young people to figure out what they want to do in the future? Why or why not?
Yeah, I definitely think there are some societal pressures. There's pressures in everything we do, from just there's peer pressure. There are pressures to try to fit into places. There are pressures that you have to wait until a certain age to be able to do something or to be able to accomplish something. And so I think there are definitely pressures that are out there. I try to, as much as possible, kind of block those pressures out, because I am on a mission and a goal to get something done, but I do recognize them and am aware of them. And so anytime I have the opportunity, I just try to encourage people to steer past them, because it was something that caught me up for a little bit, especially like growing up doing business. It's hard. It's so different. It's not something that you see all the time. Like I didn't know a lot of 13-year-olds that have their own business when I first started. And so I'm slowly starting to build that community of friends that are very similar and like-minded, like you mentioned. But there are so many pressures that will get you caught up if you don't keep on the path and surround yourself with good people who will leave you stuck there, unfortunately.
Definitely. Focus is so key, because with everything just kind of going on around us, it's so easy to kind of get caught up in everything else and not focusing on what you actually want to do. So focus is a very hard thing to kind of develop or be good at, or like master that skill, you can say. I think focusing on things is a very big skill, a very important skill as well, that we should all try and develop a little bit more, because it's definitely going to help you in the future.
I don't think it's mastered yet. There are sometimes I'm like, is this really? But I'm working on it every day.
Definitely. I mean, I don't have the easiest attention span, to be honest. So my focus isn't 1,000%, but we're getting there slowly. So that's the most important thing. Gradually getting there, still moving forward, which is always what we're trying to be doing on a daily basis as well. So my next question is, what are your dreams and aspirations for the future? Perhaps maybe for you and your personal brand, or for S.T.R.E.A.M?
As far as for S.T.R.E.A.M, one of the biggest things, like even just being an education advocate, making sure that students have access to education, career possibilities out there. So I think until that happens, my mission has to keep going, and S.T.R.E.A.M has to keep moving forward in order to make that happen. Secondly, I love speaking and being able to share my stories, share my experiences, and hopefully just lighten other people's loads along the way. So continuing to speak and to just share my message with the world is definitely still in the works and still in the plans.
I mean, I totally agree with you, and it's so amazing what you're doing, and hopefully you just keep getting more opportunities and more people can kind of hear about S.T.R.E.A.M and what S.T.R.E.A.M could do for them or for their community as well. How do you overcome setbacks? Because I think you were saying that before as well. when you were kind of starting off? How did you carry on going with kind of getting feedback from other people, not wanting to take stream to the next level, you can say?
One of my biggest quotes that I love to share with other people is know your way to success. And when I say no, not K-N-O-W, but no, N-O. You're going to hear no a lot of times. Like, trust me, I'm still hearing that word sometimes. And it's like, oh my goodness, can someone just say yes? But when you finally do get that one yes, it is all the more worth it. And so that is one of the big things that I've had to learn, is sometimes when people say the word no, either they're not the right person or it's not the right time. And so sometimes just get out there and do it, in order for people to kind of catch up and like, okay, this is something that can actually work. And so that's one of the biggest things that I've learned over the years as an entrepreneur, just as a student. I think it's great for everyone to know that, as well, because it doesn't even just come in your entrepreneurial journey. It can come while you're working for another company. It can come as a student. So there's so many. That's probably one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've learned over the past few years.
I mean, that's so powerful. Know your way to success. Trying to kind of prove everyone wrong is the best way of saying it, as well. And obviously setbacks can be really hurtful to some people, and it can really knock someone's self-esteem if they don't already have a high self-esteem or a lot of self-confidence for that matter. So always make sure you're always trying to strive forward despite what other people are saying. And everything happens for a reason. As you were saying, it might be the wrong person or it might be the wrong time. You never know. In the next few years' time, they could be contacting you again, and then it'll be your decision if you want to work with them, not theirs.
Absolutely.
So always think about what could be happening in the future, and keep trying to move forward so that you know that future is going to happen for your business or for your brand, especially. So my final question is, what advice would you give to a young person who wants to pursue their dreams but they don't maybe have the right resources or they don't feel confident enough to do so?
Yeah, definitely go out there and do it. Like, that is probably the biggest thing that I've learned, is we can think of ideas and sit on them all day long, but most likely, just as you thought about this brilliant idea, someone is hoping and wishing that there is either an opportunity like this out there or that someone would do this. And so the biggest thing I can always say is go do it. You have a mission. Go and fulfill it, because someone is looking to hear that mission. And if you need some support and you feel like the people aren't there supporting you, I'll be the support for you. I'm sure Vanessa is always willing to support as well. Let us be the support for you, because that is one of the biggest things. It can get lonely on the ride up, but when you do find a right group of people that can support you on this journey, it becomes a lot easier.
I mean, I'm just going to repeat what you said as well. I couldn't have said it any better, to be honest. It's literally just trying to surround yourself with people who are going to kind of make your mindset even stronger, or surrounding yourself with people who are already at where you want to be, so you end up learning from them as well. Absolutely. It's so important. So maybe you might not even be on the same level of success, but you're still going to learn from them. So in the future, you will be on the same level. If that makes sense. So always continue thinking about that as well. I definitely agree with what you just said as well. Kind of speaking of young people, when you first started off, was there a time where you kind of felt really doubtful because of what other people may have said, or from maybe self-criticism, not maybe from other people as well? How are you kind of feeling when you first started off?
Yeah, I would say in the beginning it was interesting, because my parents, they're very funny. It's like, my mom's like, is this something you want to do? You're gonna get on the phone and call all these companies and go to the meetings, and if this is your passion, you're gonna have to get out there and do it. And so I remember getting on the phone and talking in my 13-year-old voice, being like, hi, can I speak to a decision maker? And it was some of the hardest and weirdest phone calls I've ever had, because people were like, are your parents around? Is this a joke? And so I just remember that time being like, oh my goodness, no one really believes that this is something that can happen, or that I can help make a difference in this area. And if it was not for the people that were around me, my parents, my principal, my vice principal, who called my mom one day and was like, can I take her to the principal's meeting to share this great idea? And just their willingness to allow this, to be the stepping platform for me to showcase what this possibly can be. I would not have made it. So I literally can't thank them enough. There are going to be those times where you feel like, okay, this isn't, it's not going to work, or it's not going to happen. But again, just trying to stay positive in that time, remembering what your mission is. I knew that there are students that needed access to this, especially in communities that just don't have it. And so when I was able to remember that, I remembered why it was even started in the first place.
I mean, just a massive applause, to be honest. It's just so fantastic what you're doing as well. And it's so great that even like the people at school were supporting you as well. Because I know some people can start a business in their school, maybe they won't be fully supported by it. If you have to go to like an event, or you have a meeting during your school day, your school isn't going to be accepting of what you do, instead of actually like nurturing what you're doing, because that's going to make a massive and very positive influence on all the students around the school. So fingers crossed in the future, kind of speaking of education systems in general as well, that they'll start trying to nurture what kids do inside or outside of school as well, because that's going to create a positive impact. So not even the students, but the teachers as well. Absolutely. All of the staff members are just going to really help people think differently, which is the most important thing as well. But we're all very, very glad that you kind of did continue going, and you did have that support system as well. But we should definitely have more access to guidance. It's such an important thing. If schools just gave us a bit more guidance from like the beginning of school, like when we were super young, we'd all have a completely different vision or just different thought process than how we all do now. But that was an amazing answer. Thank you for sharing that as well, because sometimes it's hard for people to be kind of honest with us and trying to just show the authenticity of kind of what you went through in the first kind of maybe year or first couple months of you starting your career. But those phone calls, I can imagine they're probably very awkward.
It was awkward, and it's like you do have those friends too, especially because I was 8th grade at the time, so they're like, why are you not at the basketball game, or why are you having to make phone calls? So of course it's not, I don't want to paint this pretty picture like it's everything is all flowers and roses. Like, of course there's going to be some of those hard transitions, and there's going to be people that just don't get it. And then again, going back to what you said earlier, they're going to be like, okay, I understand now. Like, I understand why you were doing that in the beginning. So it's an interesting transition, but it was so worth it.
Definitely. Always be working hard, and then other people will see it, and that's kind of another way that your hard work pays off, is the best way of putting it. You're trying to prove everyone wrong, as I did say before, just trying to show everyone that you can do this, or that you've done this, and that they can also do it as well. To trying to have a can-do attitude is what a lot of people say. Yeah. But thank you for answering your questions so amazingly. You're such a lovely person to speak to.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Where can we find you on social media? Where can we find about S.T.R.E.A.M virtual events, or just where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, so for all event information, you can go to S.T.R.E.A.M social media or our website. So the social media is at S.T.R.E.A.M Global Inc. And then our website is streamglobal.org. Or if you want to stay tuned with my journey with speaking and S.T.R.E.A.M and everything else that's going on, mine is at Niamani Knight.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Everybody, make sure to go and follow Niamani on all of the platforms, definitely, so we can kind of stay tuned with what you're going to be doing in the future as well. But once again, thank you so much for being my guest today. It was lovely speaking to you. Just carry on what you're doing, because what you're doing is absolutely fantastic, and more people need to hear about what you do, because we need more people like you in the world who are trying to show education from a more positive point of view. Is the most important thing.
For you as well. We need more people like you that spread positive.
Thank you.
I like, every time I'm down, I just see you like pop up on my social media, and it's like another quote. I'm like, oh, thank you, Vanessa. I knew that.
I'm so glad that they are helping people, because sometimes I don't really realize like people like that changes people's day. Like, I actually don't think about it. I'm just like, okay, I need to post a quote, because that's kind of part of my theme. But I didn't actually like comprehend that people go ahead and they read the quote. Like, I just don't think about that, to be honest. So I'm so glad that it kind of helped you as well, and like just watching your videos as well, you just got such like a lovely positive attitude to you. I just make other people feel positive or want to be positive, which is such an amazing impact on so many people. So just thank you for doing what you do as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me as your guest.
I mean, thank you so much for being here and agreeing to do this. As I did say before, everybody go and follow Niamani on all of her social media platforms, and also S.T.R.E.A.M, and check out their website as well. But thank you so much for being my guest today. It was lovely speaking to you, and I'll be sure to speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye. So now it is the end of this interview. I hope you all did enjoy it. Make sure to like it and comment on it if you're watching this on replay as well. And thank you also so much for listening or watching as well. Hope you all did enjoy it and get what you wanted to get out of this and got any kind of knowledge from this as well. Make sure to go and follow me here on Instagram and on YouTube as well. Check out my Amazon Prime show, which is called The Inspiring Vanessa Show. But without further ado, I'll see you guys on my next interview with probably someone else absolutely amazing. So make sure you're going to be there. I'll see you there. Bye everyone.